Welcome to today's Business and Technology Academic and Career Pathway, or ACP workshop. The focus of today's presentation is on accounting, business, and hospitality. I'm one of the business faculty, Annie No, and I'll go ahead and turn it over to our business department chair.
Hi, my name is Delores Loedel, and as Annie mentioned, I am the current department faculty chair for the Business Administration Department. And I am also a CMA, Certified Managerial Accountant, and Certified Bookkeeper. And I'll talk a little bit about those certifications and a few others a little bit later. So first I want to just tell everyone that I attended community college. I attended at Grayson County Community College in Denison, Texas, quite a few years back. And then I transferred to the University of North Texas in Denton, Texas, where I received my bachelor's and master's in accounting. And I always want to tell students that my experience at the community college really did help me when I transferred. Not only did I feel prepared, I felt like I was actually kind of a more prepared than a lot of my peers who had been at the university already. So I always feel like you're in a really good place here at MiraCosta College, and that it's going to prepare you for your career ahead of you and for any educational advancement that you're going to pursue in the future. After I finished with my degrees, I worked for Electronic Data Systems, EDS, in Plano, Texas. First, I worked as an intern while I was going to the university, and then I was hired there after I received my degrees. And I think we're going to talk a little bit later about internships, so make sure and pay close attention to that, because internships are a great way for you to get valuable experience as you're going to school. Then I transitioned into the government sector, and I worked for General Dynamics for several years. I eventually was working there as an accounting manager. That's how I actually got my transition to California, was through General Dynamics. So I completed the CMA and the CB certification, Certified Bookkeeper, which I mentioned. There's a lot of different certifications in accounting that can really help you advance your career. There's the CPA also, which Certified Public Accountant, which most people have heard of. That's one of the most known certifications in accounting. But there's a lot of others that you may not have heard about. There's the Enrolled Agent, and this is one where you can take a few tax classes at MiraCosta, and then you can pass the exam, and you can actually work in tax and make a nice wage without getting a four-year degree. So it's something you can work towards and then continue your education as you're working. There's also the CIA, which is Certified Internal Auditor. There's a lot of different certifications in accounting that students can work towards. We have a couple of different accounting certificates and associate degrees, and those are our accounting and our bookkeeping degrees. So you can get the certificate of achievement, and then in accounting, and then you can also, of course, take the general education requirements in order to get your associate degree for transfer in accounting. We also have what we call the certificate of proficiency, which is less units that are required for those. And that's our computerized accounting application. We have accounting assistant, the income tax preparer, the income tax professional, and also the payroll professional. So what some students like to do is get those certificate of proficiencies first, and that gives you enough units and some experience and some education in those areas that perhaps you can get an internship, and then maybe you can move on and get a job in the industry in accounting. And then you can take those, and they're kind of like stackable certificates, such that then you can move to the certificate achievement, and then you could decide to get an associate's degree. When I actually went back to school after being out for a while, I went right after high school, and then dropped out after one semester and worked for several years. Found myself working in bookkeeping for a bank, and was doing some bank reconciliations and things like that. And I found that I had a kind of a knack for accounting and enjoyed it. Went back to the community college, and I was not intending to get a degree at that time. I was just taking some accounting classes because I was enjoying it. I was just exploring. I was taking some banking courses, And before I knew it, I was like, nope, this is what I want to do, and ended up with a master's in accounting. So um, you never know where it's going to lead you. Explore, take some classes, and you never know, you might end up with your master's in accounting one day. So we have many student success stories that we could share with you, but I'll just highlight one of our own here because some of you may know Hamed. He is a faculty member actually here at MiraCosta part-time. And he was also, of course, a MiraCosta student at one time. So he graduated from MiraCosta in 2011, so not that long ago. He transferred to SDSU. He earned a bachelor's and master's in accounting, and he shows us all up. He had a 4.0 GPA for both. Pretty impressive, very impressive. So he worked for PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC. They're the second largest professional service network in the world. They're one of the big four accounting firms. And so he worked there for a little bit, and he became an experienced audit associate. And he also completed his CPA during that time frame. He has now transitioned into industry. He's currently working for Seismic Software, and he's a general ledger supervisor, a project analyst, I believe that's what that's supposed to say, and he works in forecasting. He completed his CPA in 2016, and just like getting his 4.0 CPA, a 4.0 GPA, he passed his CPA in his first sitting, which is not that common. So he's a standout star. Then we have a lot of other standout stars that have gone through MiraCosta that maybe didn't have a 4.0 GPA, but have still done very well. So, but he's one of our own. As I mentioned, he's currently working, teaching part-time for us and in accounting. So we've got a lot of classes that you can check out and kind of get your feet wet. Some of these are, of course, required for our different certificates that we have and our degree plans. But I'm just going to run through some of these. These are most of our classes. We've got a few others, but I'm going to kind of roll through these. We have Accounting 101 and 201. Now, these are similar in the fact that, sorry, this is my husband's phone going off right now. The 101 is practical accounting, and 201 is financial accounting. And they're similar, except that the practical accounting is more for those that are looking at working more for a sole proprietorship. The financial accounting is more corporate. And if you're planning to transfer and go to a 4-year, then the 201 is what most people want to take. Some people take both, and actually 101 is listed as a not required but preferred for students to take before the 201, and it is helpful. Not everyone does that though. Then after you take 101 or 201, you can follow up with 102 and 202, practical accounting 2 and managerial accounting. And then we have 104, which is payroll accounting. We have a great payroll program now. That's a relatively new class that we've added, and a lot of students are finding that very helpful in gaining employment in the industry. 145 and 146, we have other tax classes, but those are two of our basic tax classes, the income tax, basic individual income tax, and then the taxation for business entities. And those classes can help you if you're interested in working in tax. You could take the enrolled agent exam, and you do not have to have a 4-year degree in order to sit for that exam, become an enrolled agent, and then actually work in industry helping with tax matters and whatnot. So we have 148, which is computer accounting. That's QuickBooks currently. So we have some great classes there for you, kind of put it into practical matter, because 101, 201 will teach you the foundation behind the scenes. And then the 148 is what you'll do in the real world, right? You'll use the computer system to do your accounting. Business Mathematics Accounting 158 is another great course. This course is got a little bit of a mixture of business math, but also some personal math, which is helpful for individuals because we cover student debt and things like that, all kinds of different installment notes. We talk about credit cards. So students find it very practical for personal matters as well as for business matters. So those are some of the great classes that you can check out. We've got some excellent professors teaching all of those. Our three main professors, besides myself, our full-time faculty, we have Mike Deschamps and Eric Carstensen, and then we have a lot of great part-time faculty as well, which you met one of those earlier, Hamed.
Thanks, Dolores. Again, I'm Annie. I'm going to talk about the business programs here. On the right here, these are our full-time faculty for the business administration team, I guess. There's Christina Sharp, Nate Sharp, and then myself. Um, Similar to what Dolores said, we have a variety of certificates of proficiency that you can take a look at. And then those are usually 14 units or less. And as you stack them, that can also bring you up to getting a certificate of achievement. And then eventually, with the right mix of classes, and you'll work with your counselors to figure that out, you can get your associate's degree. We've got a number of associate's degree like entrepreneurship, management, marketing, and retail management, and the very popular business administration for transfer. A little bit more about me. I've been with MiraCosta for almost 4 years now. I was previously teaching at other community colleges, Miramar, and the University of San Diego, which is where I went to school for my bachelor's and my PhD, and Cal State San Marcos, where I first started teaching statistics, and now I teach statistics full time for MiraCosta. But my background in corporate was in procurement, so I was negotiating corporate deals for companies, and part of that job involved analyzing data. So I would know what we were spending in order to make good decisions on how we should spend our money and who we should spend it with. And so that's the mix of numbers if you're analytical, but I also liked it because it had the people aspect or the interpersonal in negotiating with my coworkers as well as my suppliers. So I wanted to share a success story. This is about Andrew Myers. He graduated from MiraCosta College in 2008 and then transferred to SDSU, where he got a Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration and Management and Entrepreneurship. His interest was first in financial planning, so he went into wealth management at Morgan Stanley and UBS, where he was a client service associate and then eventually became a branch administrative manager. But after about 5 or 6 years of this, he realized this wasn't the right career path for him and he wasn't really happy. So he talked to people in his network, his friends, his professors, colleagues at work, to think about like where he might have a better fit in. So he explored like utilities as well as aerospace and defense, and he ended up getting a job at Northrop Grumman. But he actually took a step back in order to get in the door, in that he became a financial analyst, and then he got his certificate in project management. So that's a popular certification in business, especially if you like working on projects and teams. And so eventually became a project manager for Northrop Grumman, and now he's the manager of the entire Global Hawk program. So he's got a large team of folks that he manages for Global Hawk, if you're familiar with um, like military stuff. But then he did, what helped him get to that role was that he ended up going back to school. He got his MBA at Cal State University San Marcos, and that helped prepare him for the management role that he's in now. But in talking with him, he loved his time at MiraCosta College. He took a lot of his classes down at the San Alejo campus, as well as Oceanside. But he said it just fit well. He actually was supposed to go originally to a four-year university up in the Bay, but a series of mishaps resulted in him staying in town and going to MiraCosta, which he was so happy he did. Some good courses to check out. Introduction to Business is always a good course for anyone that's wanting to explore a broad range of topics in business. And then if you know you're also interested in entrepreneurship or opening up your own business, Business 130 is great as well. So the Introduction to Business focuses more on if you were working at a company, whereas 130 is more on opening up your own. Another good course is the personal finance course. This helps you on the personal side of how to manage your finances, from budgeting, taxes, buying a home, retirement. I actually teach Business 147 along with a couple of other associate faculty. We also have a new course. It's called Business 289 Career Mentoring that started up about a year ago, where we match students with mentors in the industry. And it's been a great success. We did have to pause it during the pandemic because one of the great benefits is you get to interact and meet with a mentor as well as go to different networking events to practice your networking skills. So hopefully in the near future, we'll be able to restart this class again. But keep an eye out for that when you're looking at courses. And then also something to think about is Business 292, which is our internship studies class. Just recently, MiraCosta was our business program was designated as a preferred provider of business talent for Advancing San Diego. So there is a group of employers who are interested in giving out internships paid to those students who come from schools that have prepared you for the workplace. And so we've been designated under the general for business. And so if you take a certain number of classes, certain ones, we will be contacting you about the opportunities and then encouraging you to apply and helping you out. And I think that is it for the business component. If you've got any burning questions, feel free to drop it into the chat, and then I will hand it over to Amy.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for your time and allowing me to share a little bit about our hospitality program. I'm certainly passionate about it. I think it's a wonderful program, and I don't know how many of you know that tourism is the third largest industry in San Diego. So there's, of course, a lot going on. We discuss a lot in our lectures. We try to keep things current. We say pre-COVID and, after COVID, especially in the world of hospitality. I'm sure you can all appreciate that. But I'm here tonight to talk to you a little bit about the program, an overview of some of the things that you'll learn about, and just even some career opportunities in hospitality that you may have never thought about or connected with. So here are our hospitality programs that are offered. We have a lot of students who are into the culinary arts and would also like to open up their own food business. So we've had several MiraCostans, and I'll talk about this in a few slides, who started their own food trucks, who've started their own bakeries, also personalized chocolates and things. So, and also managed foods, where they've become, regional operators of managed food for assisted living, universities, and schools. So these are, as you can see right here, there's certificates of proficiency in catering operations, dining room operations, food service operations, and restaurant management. There's also a certificate of achievement there in an associate's degree. And then on the more hotel side of things, you have your front office operations and hospitality management, meeting and event management. So there's certificates of achievement and associate's degrees available both in the hospitality management and restaurant management side of it. So hospitality meaning more of the hotel side, accommodation side, and then restaurant management being more of the food and beverage side. So it really encompasses everything. And I have to tell you that in the world of hospitality, to have a certificate of proficiency in something, or to say that you've taken a class to become, for example, more understanding front desk operations, is a real feather in your cap. And hospitality is a career that you can take with you the skills across different disciplines. You learn to be welcoming, you learn to have a sense of arrival, you learn about some of the laws and regulations. We build what we call a hierarchy of guest needs, where we talk about the importance of safety, things in working order, and well maintained. These are things that you can take with you across many, many disciplines, and they're discussed in both the restaurant management and hospitality or accommodation side of it. So in addition to kind of the nuts and bolts piece of the certificates here, I do have to say that hospitality draws people with hospitality hearts. These people in hospitality are tend to be drawn to want to create great experiences for other people. And if you think about your best memories, so many people write in, especially in our discussion boards, that their best memories are going out to dinner with their family, or creating a family meal, or going on that vacation and being time spent together, going to Disneyland together, theme parks, all of these things that are involved with hospitality. So being able to be part of those memories and creating those wonderful memories, I take as an honor. And I know that many of our students feel the same way. We have students for a variety of backgrounds, those who are starting from their very first job to those who've been seasoned in the industry we had one gentleman who's been a cook for 30 years who took the class this semester. So I was joking, he should be teaching the class with all of that experience. So we have a variety of students, and we try to tailor each class to be current, especially as I mentioned in hospitality. I've completely revamped my curriculum to include guest speakers. I wanted to share with you a few of the guest speakers that we've had this semester. We've had Michelle Geller, the city manager for from the city of Oceanside, to talk about all of the opportunities in hospitality and plans for hospitality that the city has to offer. We've had Leslie Gall from the city of Oceanside and the Welcome Center come to discuss. She was on the advisory board, or is on the advisory board at MiraCosta, to talk about all of the opportunities that she knows of and to offer her support to our hospitality students. And to Handel's Ice Cream as well, to their regional managers. So we definitely try to keep it current and interactive. Please tell me if I'm going too long.
No, fine.
Okay.
Enthusiasm is always good.
Okay, thank you. Just to bring to some of your attention, I wrote of just because there's such a wide array of hospitality careers out there. I wrote down some of them, and these are what some of our actual students have studied to be: airline stewardess, food truck owner, startup catering company, personal concierge, personal chef, hotel manager, general manager, housekeeping, maintenance, environmental health, sustainability consultant, event planning, weddings, experiences, small home or glamping, reservation specialist, restaurant manager, personal chef, food and beverage manager, managed food service, assisted living, sports events, recreation, cruises, spa managers, hair and nail salon operators. So those are all different aspects that you might not consider, but they're all under the array of hospitality. And if you're working, for those students who are listening, if you're working for a major hotel or restaurant, check with your human resources department. Many of them offer tuition reimbursement programs that pay for hospitality courses, and they'll pay for you to take these courses at MiraCosta and reimburse you for books. I know that is true for the Marriott and the Wyndham downtown here in Oceanside. So there might be opportunities for you to get those classes paid for as well. So I wanted to share with you one of my success stories, Becky Ocampo. Becky, she might even have joined this call, but Becky is studying with us, and as you can tell, this is a little bio that she wrote about herself. She, like many of our hospitality students, wants to start her own business. And I can't tell you how many entrepreneurs we have in hospitality. And I think it's perfect for the business department because it offers that blend of, having this hospitality dream, the sense of entrepreneurship, also balanced with, the accounting and the, again, nuts and bolts and operational structure that you need to run a healthy business. So some of the, Becky, I think, as a representative of many students, she is actually planning to get her event planning certificate at SDSU. And some of the courses that you can take here in hospitality are transferable. So please, I encourage you to look at that transfer path, because you can take some of the courses here and take them along with you. And they're transferable within the business department and other places and SDSU. So take a look at that. But certainly Becky represents somebody who's trying to balance it all in a very stressful time, and working to get her event planning certificate, but also trying to get experience with businesses by working there and kind of learning on their dime before she starts on her own. So she has a very well balanced story, and I think she's going to go far. But I just wanted to share with her. I think she's definitely a story of somebody who is doing outstanding work and is going to make MiraCosta very proud in the future. Some other student success stories. I have a lot of success stories to share with you guys. I have to tell you, a lot of our hospitality students, they are entrepreneurs. They want to get in there, start their own businesses, or work their way up through management positions in major hotels or restaurants. And so some of the businesses that they've started, we've had one student who was starting a tiny home. I don't know how many of you have heard of these tiny homes, but she's actually starting her own hotel business where she's buying small tiny homes and putting them on land in a wilderness area for a glamping experience. I don't know how many of you have heard of Devil Dogs Barbecue. They're located on Camp Pendleton, but that was a MiraCosta student who started that. And this was a former military who took Hospitality 100 and used those skills to help present and make a business plan that they presented to the peers who helped them with their advertising and gave them feedback. At the time, of course, we did get samples, so that wasn't too bad of a thing either. But but Devil's Dogs, that's certainly a success story. Please go on Google and Google them and support them. They're doing a lot of takeout, and they have a food truck. Also, we've had students, as I said, design their own chocolates, their own bakeries. And one student here in Oceanside, who's also a former military, who's starting his own Oceanside beef jerky company. So that's super exciting. So a lot comes from it, but a lot of the class in hospitality too is sharing with your peer your ideas and getting feedback, which is so important, especially as you struggle to get up and figure out what's working. And I just wanted to play, in conclusion, I made this really short 57-second clip I wanted to play for you all. Hello, and welcome to Hospitality 100. My name is Amy, and I am delighted to be your professor this semester. This class is designed to be a high-level overview of all things hospitality. We will cover hotels, gaming, restaurant management, event planning, leadership skills, and more. You will hear directly from guest speakers about their real-life experiences. You will get a behind-the-scenes look at hotels, restaurants, and their hiring practices. Hospitality is not only a terrific career, but can be personally rewarding as well. It's fulfilling to help create memorable experiences of a lifetime for others. You can be part of someone's favorite memory, a wonderful time that they had with their family or friends. My measurement of success as a teacher is how successful you are in this class. I am sincere that I want everyone to do well. I am here to help. Welcome, and please join me this semester as we journey together in hospitality. Thank you. And that kind of segues to our next slide here, which is good courses to check out, right? Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. Good courses to check out. If anybody is looking for, again, a high-level 100 class where you can learn about everything hospitality, this class is for you. We just cover a little bit of everything, but especially we start to learn the vocabulary terms that would be necessary to advance you in any career in hospitality, terms that are particular to the operations management, operational prioritization, and more. So please, it's a fun class. It's interactive. We learn a lot, and hopefully it's a skill that you can take with you. So thank you for your time.
And then anytime you've got career questions, we actually have a number of faculty mentors and liaisons already lined up, waiting to just chat with students, answer questions over the phone, Zoom, email, anything at all in the different career areas and disciplines. And I wanted to actually take this moment because there were so many questions in the chat. Why don't we go ahead and just kind of tackle some of them if they haven't been addressed already? There was a question about courses on tax strategy.
Right. So we do have more tax classes than the two that I mentioned. Not specific strategy, but we do have an advanced tax course that covers topics beyond the basics. We have a accounting 147. I was sitting here trying to remember the numbers. And then we also have a 149. And the 149 is for students that want to start practicing and learning how to do hands-on tax with others. And so it's called VITA, and it's a program where you actually go into the community and provide tax services. So of course that looks different right now, as everything does under COVID, but so that's a couple of additional classes, nothing specific strategy, but strategies involved with all of these classes. So you do learn strategy, tax strategy as you go through any of these courses. There was another question about enrolled agent and earnings for that. And I put in the chat, I put Robert Half Company. They have a guide that they put out every year, and it's really helpful. It goes through and it describes a lot of different tools that accountants and people in finance need, as far as like soft skills, hard skills, things like that. And it goes through and talks about specific industries that are in high demand right now for accountants. That they also have very detailed salary guide in there. So somebody asked about enrolled agent, what kind of earnings you can make. You know, if you look at just general guidelines, they say average national 50,000, but it really varies, of course, according to where you live, cost of living in the area. Generally, San Diego, of course, is going to pay a little higher than other areas, how much experience you have, as with any job. But that's kind of the national average, is what I've heard, around 50,000. So, but that's not bad if you come out with just a few classes and pass your enrolled agent to get into the industry and make a good living. We've had students that have done that, have done internships for enrolled agents, and then have been hired right away. So I think that was all the tax questions that we had. And
there were a few questions around transferability and coursework, and so your best option is to schedule an appointment with your counselor, but there is some information in the chat box if you are curious. But are there any other questions that anyone wanted to ask about the disciplines or career paths before we get into the labor market info? We'll hand it over to Nina from our Career Center.
Hello, good evening. Nice to be with you. Thanks for having me. And wanted to share, I just took a couple of little snapshots from a tool that we use that's called Burning Glass. It's a pretty awesome tool that gives you really sort of an overview of a particular career area. So I just chose one for each of the three disciplines that we just discussed. The first one that I chose is hotel manager. So kind of on the track toward the accommodation side more than the food side. And like we talked about, this might be a job that you look at with a large hotel chain. So just kind of a snapshot to give you a sense of where you might potentially see these jobs. So the projected growth for this particular area is pretty good. Average demand, so not blowing the socks off. I also did kind of a gut check. So if you look at that lower left-hand corner, you'll see there's 391 companies that have posted a hotel manager position in San Diego, and that includes North County and San Diego County, all the whole San Diego metro area in the last year. You might think to yourself, well, in the last year, we've had a lot of changes. So especially like Amy was talking about earlier, COVID has had an impact, particularly in the hospitality areas, one of the areas that really has had some impact, but fairly robust. So most are, you kind of consider, I ran the numbers for the last 6 months, and in the 6 months, so from 6 months previous to just now, about 30%. So you'd think 50%, but given COVID, about 30%. So 121 positions were posted for a hotel manager within the last 6 months. So still holding fairly strong. Salary, and it does salary kind of by your education level. So as you'd imagine, as you have more education, your salary would go up. So if you're doing high school or voc training, so voc training, you may think kind of more vocational education, but that voc training really counts as a certificate. So let's say you do one of the certificates of proficiency or one of the certificates of achievement in hospitality, that kind of is lumped together with that voc training. A few $1,000s more per year for an associate's degree, so about $47,000 would be the median salary, and then for a bachelor's degree, about 55. So like I said, the more education you have, generally, the higher the salary. in terms of education level and also years of experience, you can kind of see over on the right-hand side, it is a job where you can get in with some fairly, fairly limited experience. So about 40% of the postings would accept somebody with 0 to 2 years of experience. So kind of entering into that particular industry is a way that you could potentially get your foot in the door. But also it is a learn and earn kind of career that you can kind of work your way up and ultimately get some skills while you're going to school and then move into maybe a management position. Same thing in terms of education level, about 37% would hire someone with a high school, and again, high school includes certificate student, so a fairly large number, and then you kind of move more toward the bachelor's degree. But again, 17% with an associate. So you sort of see the range of different possibilities there. And like I said before, average demand, about 11.5% growth over the next 10 years is kind of projected. Go to the next slide, Annie. Thanks. So this is also sort of a snapshot of the hotel industry, if you will. So the hotel manager is our job description that we were looking at, but a lot of other types of related positions. So you might say, hey, I really want to do something around concierge service. So that's the person who kind of understands and knows about the area, maybe gives recommendations for restaurants, attractions, other kinds of things like that. Maybe it's somebody that's more on the food side. So you could be kind of in the area of chef, or maybe you're doing reservation ticketing agents. So lots of different offshoots of that particular position, but kind of gives you an idea of different kinds of career pathways that might work for somebody interested in the hotel industry overall.
I can make just a comment. Years ago, I was on a trip in the Virgin Islands, and I was on a boat, and my friend and I were talking with some people on the boat, and there was a gentleman who was traveling to work on a boat in St. John, and he was an accountant for a hotel there. And I'll never forget that, because he was very casual. This is before it was super casual everywhere. It was back when I had to wear a suit to work every day. And he was wearing shorts and on the boat, and this was his commute to work every day. And I was like, wow, now that's a nice accounting job. So hotels hire a lot of accountants as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right.
It is our job to have fun. It is our job to have fun in hospitality, right?
It is about the experience. It really is. It's true.
And I can imagine post-pandemic, everyone's gonna want to go on vacation.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be like a boom.
Yeah. The stir crazy folks. Okay, so I also picked a job within business administration. I chose marketing specialist. So this is a truly an entry-level job. So you should kind of look at the same snapshot as before. But if you look at it, it is a job that you can, 54% of the people have 0 to 2 years of experience. So very much a step in the door to potentially be able to work your way up within the marketing realm. Salary wise, or actually I'll start with the number of job postings. So in the last 12 months, 1,500 positions posted for marketing specialists in San Diego County. I'll do my COVID gut check with you. About 45% of that for COVID, so about 700 positions. So fairly robust in terms of still people are still doing marketing. It might look a little bit different. There are not as many live events and things like that, but definitely still a need to try to continue to market products and services. In terms of education level, so primarily the associate's degree, you see the little small sliver, about 5%, about 94% of folks want you to have a bachelor's degree. So that's the main piece. So this is a job where maybe you're going to go do the business for transfer and then do a marketing degree. But again, a great way to get your foot in the door. And we'll talk about internships in a couple minutes, but you might do an internship and have a part-time job while you're completing your education. It's a great way to go. Fairly robust in terms of growth, about 28% over the next 10 years. And like we talked about before, the salary based on your education level, about $37,000 a year for an associate's, whereas once you do that bachelor's degree, you get a nice bump up to about $48,000 a year, almost 49. That's kind of a snapshot. And then the next slide will actually kind of take you through, you might start as a marketing specialist or a marketing assistant, but then you'll see that a related job down in that lower right quadrant is a marketing manager or a communications manager. Marketing is very much an industry where you start and you can work your way up within a potential area. Like most things, you sort of start off, but kind of move your way up within an organization. But lots of different kinds of marketing. You can do things that are more communication or PR related, advertising, things of that nature, versus doing media planning or copywriting, really specific to the promotional niche. But again, marketing specialist kind of is the hub, and then the further away you get from that, you see some different kinds of career pathways that might work for someone that's considering marketing as a career. All right. Any questions about business? I just chose marketing, but there's so many other kinds of business related jobs, really a ton of different ones, but I chose marketing because it's something I know a little bit about.
I actually had a question. I'm trying to think about like what kind of internship to apply for like next semester. And I see like with marketing, you could go the route of like data analytics, or you could also do like the real marketing aspect of it. Like if I were to want, like I'm a business economics major, like what do you think would look better? Like more like focus on data analytics or the actual marketing itself?
Like the creative side.
Yeah, part of that is what your passion is. Some people love the creative piece, but almost any marketing that's done these days has a digital part. And with that comes the analytics piece. So knowing that is super important. On the econ side, kind of that economics piece sort of leads me to think that maybe you're more in the big picture of how does this product fit, or service or whatever it might be that you're marketing, fit within the context of the economy. But it comes with what you're passionate about. My career was very much focused on product development and product marketing, and how you start with an idea and turn it into a product and do test marketing, other kinds of things. I love that. It was very much a varied kind of thing day to day. I think it really is maybe a little bit of soul searching about what you like and what interests you. And sometimes the opportunity comes based on the industry. So maybe there's a particular industry that you're really into that you kind of feel a love or an interest for. My own was in the medical and biotechnology realm. So did a lot of product development, product marketing for those types of areas, but it's really kind of what you like. It's not about what looks better. It's more about, could I see myself doing this on a day-to-day basis? So I'd say if you have an opportunity to try analytics, and if you have sort of a personality that lends itself to numbers and kind of enjoying that piece, I think that's really important, but it'll serve you no matter what you do, because it's the wave of the future. The way that marketing is going, it's very much turned into a data business where you're, the formulas are created to try to figure out how you get the most bang for your buck with regard to digital platforms and that kind of thing. It's very much how it looks these days. So I know that didn't really answer your question, but I think, okay. Yeah, part of it is,
it depends. Like, and it's also like, it would be helpful to like, I find that like after like an experience, like with a company, like you'll probably be like, I either really want to do this or I don't. Yes. So it's kind of going to be like trial and error, but yep. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that answer.
No, sure. And I think that's really a great testimony for doing an internship and trying something, because if you invest a ton of money and you do a data science degree and you really are into this whole digital data-driven marketing thing, and then you start doing it day to day and you realize you don't like it, that's tough. So doing it at the community college level, I'm really a huge proponent of that, because you decide what you like and do a little process of elimination before you invest a lot of money into your bachelor's degree and figure out your interests and your passions lie. A great stepping stone or piece of advice, and we'll talk a little bit about this in a second, is talking to a career counselor. They're really great at helping you kind of do some of that discovery work about yourself to say, hey, what really does, what is it about this that excites me? Is it the creative part? Is it the data side? Is it the big picture? Is it product development? Is it supply chain? You know, there's so many different aspects of marketing. So I'd encourage you to maybe try and set up a career counseling appointment. We just hired a brand new career counselor named Stacy Mathis, and she's awesome. And I know how to find you, Brittany, so I can actually connect the two of you, but that might be a good thing to do, just to kind of discuss some of that and do some of those assessments to see where your passions and interests lie.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Sure. Okay, and the last one I chose is for the accounting area, and it is the accountant. And the income, the salary chart looks a little bit different for this one, because if you look at the education level, to be hired as an accountant, and we'll look at some of the ancillary types of things to an accountant as a position in a second, but 99% of accountants have a bachelor's degree, and a few have more education, but it's rare that you would be an accountant without having that bachelor's degree. And in terms of experience, you can, the whole accountant system, and Delores can kind of talk to this a little bit more, but if you're on a track toward a CPA and an accountant position, especially with one of the big four accounting firms, you know, it's pretty prescriptive that you're probably going to do an internship in your junior year of your university track, and ultimately then work toward potentially going to work for one of those firms, you know, sort of like the real trial and error of, could I see myself working within this company? So very high demand, about 37,098 and 3,700 or almost 3,800 positions in the last year. And my COVID takeaway is about half of that, about 40%. So 1,564 within the last 6 months. So a little bit, you know, around 40%, 41% compared to the non-COVID numbers that we're showing here. Projected growth about 10.9% in the next 10 years. So a solid, you know, it's solid. Well, there is the accountant position, a lot of the other certificates that Delores was talking about, and career pathways, things like auditing or tax or bookkeeping, you know, they're all kind of around there, but lots of related positions. And we didn't really talk about what the salary was specifically, but it's very good. But you might consider, you know, having a position within a company as a bookkeeper or doing a specific part of the accounting process, accounts payable, accounts receivable. The success story that you shared, Delores, was really cool, because there's in addition to just really neat experiences, sort of a progression of increasing responsibility for our student that you talked a little bit about. But accounting is very solid, and lots of different areas that, again, you can explore based on your interests and what you might want to do. So the last slide is really just to share a little bit more about how we at the Career Center can kind of support you on your pathway. The first couple bullets are really designed to think about, hey, if I'm really unsure about what my major is, if you're thinking about one of these three areas but you're unsure, assessments are a great way. So sort of like what I was talking about with Brittany. Actually, I was thinking more of number 2 there for you, Brittany, but you know, maybe even if you've decided on a specific major, but you're not certain about the kind of job, career counselors are really good at taking the realm of all different possibilities and helping you kind of narrow it down to one or two potential pathways that really kind of match your interests, your skills, what you're good at, where you're, you know, something that you can see yourself doing long term. Those are really, really helpful conversations, and kind of helping you focus on where you see yourself. Once you're on your way, we also can help with some guidance to pursue an internship. It's a great way. I think everyone that we talked to today, some of the students as well as faculty have had that experience where you really are trying something out. And I'm a huge believer in the process of elimination, that if you try something, it's an okay experience to say, I didn't really like this, because then you haven't invested thousands of dollars in a degree that maybe is in something that's not relevant to what you see yourself doing. So it's a great way to kind of test drive and confirm your career pathway once you've had a chance to do that. And then maybe you're in a situation, think about COVID and people who had job losses and other kinds of things. Maybe you're in a position where you need a job right now. We can also help with all the resources that you might need, help with a resume, practicing interviewing. We have a job board, we call it Jane, but it's a way to be able to ultimately get to the point where you can look at resources to find specific jobs, people who want to hire MiraCosta students, either as interns or as employees. And so great opportunities, and our contact information's there to get in touch, and we're eager to help. And I'm going to pass it over to Jocelyn, who's going to share a little bit about academic counseling.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Jocelyn, and I'm one of the counselors here at MiraCosta College. I'm happy that I'm a part of this conversation tonight. It's a very important one. Just want to let you all know that for those of you who are interested in any of the careers part of this business and technology, we do have a specific link, which I put a couple of times in the chat, but if you missed it, it is here listed on the very top here. What you'll do is you'll click on that and it'll take you to another window where you're going to enter your Surf ID number and your password. And then it's going to ask you which ACP pathway do you want to make an appointment with. And then each pathway has designated counselors to work with. Each of the pathways in the business and technology, there is me, Jocelyn, and there is Donnie Munschauer. And both of us will be happy to help you create your educational plan and help you discuss and ask some very important questions that you may not have thought about on your own yet. Definitely recommend visiting the Career Services Center. We also have online express chat that's available. So if you have a quick question or a general counseling question, if you want some advisement or counseling around what to pick for the current semester enrollment for the next period, not for the current one, sorry. You can use the online express chat. So it's usually between 20 and 30 minutes. And then we do have one-on-one appointments available for a 45-minute appointment. And while 45 minutes may sound like a long time, once you get into a nice deep conversation, it goes by very quickly, and you realize that you need more appointments. So I would encourage you all to start early and just in the exploration process. There are a lot of benefits about seeing a counselor. One of those is that you can start to engage in very important conversations to help you explore how you're making some of your decisions, and if you're doing some accurate research, and so that we can point you in the right direction for resources. We can help monitor your academic progress, where you are along in your process for transfer, or certificate, or an associate's degree. We can help explain the differences between all of those, or maybe you're just looking to provide some more knowledge and growth in a particular discipline or area. We can also help encourage you to take certain courses. Our counseling hours, we're there available Monday through Friday. Monday through Thursday are our longest hours, 8 to 7 p.m. And then Fridays are shorter hours, and we are offering some Saturday appointments as well. We also encourage you to use something called My Ed Plan. You'll find this once you log into your SURF account. And this helps you explore how far along you are in your progress with your degree, whether it's a certificate, an associate's degree for transfer. And it allows you to run different scenarios as well. If we have time, there's a 2-minute video. If not, we can skip that piece. And if you want to learn how to use this feature, that's available to you, please make an appointment with us as soon as you get a chance. Rule of thumb, we encourage students to make an appointment at least once per semester so that we can continue to guide you. Things change all the time. And unless students give us the opportunity to have that conversation with them, we won't be able to tell them what the updates are for every year. And then we have an extensive amount of resources available to all of you. This is just a small list of those, and I would encourage you to either contact a counselor, talk to any faculty member, any staff member, and we will all direct you in the direction that you need to go for to access all the resources that we have available for you to help you succeed.
All right. Are there any questions at all? We've got a few minutes to just field anything that you might have. We will be posting the recording and slide deck in Canvas. So if you haven't already accepted the Canvas invite to the ACP, please do. But we can also email this out directly to the participants today.